Homelander, the face of the boys, the perfect superhero, who gets absolute clowned on in versus matches. Every time his name comes up, someone's already saying Omni-Man crushes or Superman sneezes him out of existence. Let's be fair, Homelander's not weak. He's brutal, fast, and one of the most terrifying live-action supes we've ever seen. So today we're figuring out once and for all, who can Homelander actually beat? We're ranking characters from different universes, heroes, villains, even video game icons, based on whether Homelander can beat them, lose to them, or if it's a 50-50 fight. So let's see where the big guy actually stands. Homelander, a man who appointed himself to be the world's greatest hero and essentially a god, but he's so much more of a devil. He's a psychopath, is constantly just being the absolute worst hero, and truly has no problem with killing absolutely anybody. But the real question is, just exactly how strong is this guy? Well, he's quite literally the strongest man in the world, and has never met anyone who's been his physical equal. And I guess you could argue that Soldier Boy exists, but I don't even know if Soldier Boy is his true equal. Sure, Soldier Boy can give Homelander a good fight, but Homelander said it himself.
You're just a cheap knockoff.
Oh, no.
I'm the upgrade.
Soldier Boy can injure him, can blow him up with those explosions that would also theoretically depower him, but in a straight up fight, Homelander is still winning that one. He was still winning that one. He truly is the strongest hero out of the bunch and the strongest man alive. And while Homelander's fights in the past haven't really been the most impressive, the most that you can honestly say for them is city block level. There's an argument that Homelander is actually city busting at the very least. A guidebook has said before that Homelander has the power to level a city in minutes, and Homelander himself threatened to wipe out New York, Des Moines, and Modesta just for fun. So take it for what you will. We've never actually seen it, but it's definitely hinting that Homelander is strong enough to straight up destroy cities if he really wanted to. Bottom line, Homelander's pretty strong. And so if that's how strong Homelander is, well, how tough is he? That's a little bit more up in the air. Not really because he's not durable, but just because it's hard to say that he's ever really had his durability tested before. He's bulletproof, was unscathed by a bus and rubble crashing down on top of him, but the guy is obviously intended to be invincible. It was said that if Homelander ever turned against America or turned against Vought, they'd have no way to take him down. It was also said that there isn't a weapon on Earth that they haven't thrown at him. They all failed. Obviously, this is including nukes. So just from those statements, Homelander is incredibly tough. But of course, there are things that can injure him. Soldier Boy was able to give him bruises with his punches. Queen Maeve even broke his nose with a hit. At best, you can scale Homelander up to multi-city block in terms of durability, considering that he did survive a multi-city block explosion at the chemical plant. Honestly, he's probably way tougher than this because, well, he did survive it and survived it relatively unscathed for the most part. And another thing is, just like Homelander doesn't have a ton of durability feats, doesn't really have a ton of speed feats. I mean, in fact, I don't think we've ever even seen Homelander's speed in a fight, except maybe like once or twice. That being said though, he really is pretty fast when he's just flying around. He's regularly flown at Mach speeds, even reached up to Mach 5 while saving Butcher from that C4 explosion, which is looking like his top speed. Instead, while Homelander does have all these incredible powers, and sometimes he'll have to use them in a fight, more often than not, Homelander is just completely spamming his heat vision all over the place. And for the most part, well, it really is effective. He can easily slice through flesh and bone, just kill people with one glance. He can also use it against other supes and send them flying backwards. All in all, while Homelander does get clowned on quite a bit, he actually is pretty powerful and is easily the most powerful being in the boys' universe. Gamma Jack might not be a household name, but in the Incredibles universe, he's one of the heavy hitters. He's got explosive energy projection strong enough to blow through concrete walls and toss supervillains across streets. In his prime, he was taking on city-level threats alongside Mr. Incredible and Frozone. Against Homelander, that energy output actually matters. Homelander's tanked bullets and explosions, sure, but concentrated plasma-style blasts are a different story. If Gamma Jack goes all out and keeps the distance, he could absolutely stagger or even drop Homelander. The problem? Endurance. Homelander can fight for hours, and Gamma Jack burns out quick. Still, if he catches Homelander for full force energy pulls, that cape's getting vaporized. It's a 50-50 fight. Homelander might be the apex predator of the boys' universe, but Invincible comes from a world where everyone is built like him. Mark Grayson's traded blows with Viltrumites who destroy planets for sports. He's flown through cities, been punched through continents, and tanked explosions that make Homelander's laser vision look like a lighter. Even early on, Invincible took beatings that would turn Homelander into mist, and he just keeps getting stronger. Mark's also way faster, reacting mid-combat in orbit, matching fighters that cross light years in minutes. Homelander won't even see the hit coming. Bob Parr is the definition of a brick. He's lifted trains, held collapsing buildings, and survived massive explosions. But here's the thing, he's still grounded. Once Homelander gets airborne, the fight's over. Bob can hit hard, but he can't fly, can't shoot lasers, and can't tank focused heat vision. Homelander's mobility gives him total control of the battlefield. Even if Bob lands a few big punches, Homelander just backs off, hovers, and melts him from above. This one's close, but Mr. Incredible is going to get overwhelmed. Speed kills, and Sonic's entire thing is speed. In the live-action movies, he's fast enough to freeze time from his perspective, outrun missiles, and zip across entire cities before anyone can blink. And once he goes supersonic, it's basically over. Supersonic has flight and vulnerability and hits strong enough to level mechs and energy weapons designed to destroy mountains. Homelander's heat vision isn't tagging him, it's not even seeing him. Sonic could literally slap him around like a toy before Homelander's brain processes what just happened. Stitch might be small, but he's an absolute tank. He survived starship crashes, shrugged off plasma blast, lifted things hundreds of times his size. The dude's biology was built for chaos. 4 arms, claws, teeth, agility, and an instinct for destruction. Homelander has the advantage in raw power and flight, but Stitch's speed and unpredictability are huge problems. If he gets in close and starts ripping away, Homelander's gonna have a bad time, but this one depends on how seriously Homelander takes him. And we both know that arrogance will get him in trouble. Yeah, this one's a massacre. Metroman isn't fast, he's beyond speed. The man can literally spend hours inside a single fraction of a second. He experiences time differently. To him, Homelander would look frozen. Even if Homelander somehow reacted, his lasers and punches wouldn't scratch someone who tanked a sun-powered beam without flinching. Metroman could punch him into orbit, stop for a sandwich, and still get back before Homelander hit the ground. Easy, easy win. Syndrome's tech is smart, but not that smart. Sure, the Omni droid could analyze superhuman attacks and adapt mid-battle, but Homelander's too fast, too vicious, and too unpredictable. The second he decides to blitz, Syndrome's vaporized. His flight boots, gadgets, and smug attitude mean nothing against a guy who can fly through solid steel. Syndrome would get about 5 seconds into his monologue before becoming a scorch mark. Omni-Man is basically the fully realized version of what Homelander thinks he is. He's a soldier bred for galactic conquest, someone who's destroyed entire planets and shrugged off nuclear weapons. His fight with Invincible alone proves he's in a completely different league. Homelander struggles to lift a plane. Omni-Man flies through one without slowing down. He doesn't get tired, doesn't hesitate, and doesn't hold back. Homelander is going to die in the first 30 seconds. From Sky High, the Commander's the world's greatest hero. Super strength, near invulnerability, total charisma. But Homelander has one major advantage: flight and ruthlessness. Commander's a classic Boy Scout, big punches, heroic one-liners, and that's it. Homelander doesn't fight fair. He's faster, meaner, and will happily laser through the guy's chest while monologuing about patriotism. The Commander might hang for a minute, but once Homelander goes feral, the fight's finished. Titan's basically Homelander's animated doppelganger. Raw power, zero discipline. He's ripped through skyscrapers, tossed helicopters, and tanked missiles without noticing. But his ego's his downfall. Homelander's at least tactical. Titan just spams destruction until something breaks. It's chaos versus a little bit of control, and either one could snap first. If Titan lands a clean shot, Homelander's eating pavement. But if Homelander plays it smart, Titan could get folded. It might be a toss-up. People forget how broken Hancock really is. He's tanked direct missile hits, flown through trains, and shrugged off building level explosions without injury. He's fast enough to intercept bullets and strong enough to launch people into orbit. Homelander might start confident until he realizes every punch he throws is doing nothing. Once Hancock sobers up and gets serious, Homelander's outclassed across the board. The Iron Giant is peaceful until you push him too far. Then he becomes a literal walking doomsday weapon. He shrugged off artillery, tank shells, and missile barrages with zero damage. His laser arsenal can vaporize tanks in seconds. Homelander's got the edge in agility and speed, but the Giant locks onto him, one blast and he's gone. If Homelander rushes in fast, he can win. If he hesitates, the Iron Giant melts him. Doomslayer is not a superhero. He's a monster who hunts monsters. He's torn through demons that flatten planets, ripped gods apart barehanded, and tanked explosions that would erase cities. His armor is built to resist plasma, hellfire, and magic, all while he carries weapons that could reduce Homelander to paste. Homelander's fast, but Doomslayer's fought faster. Homelander's strong, but Doomslayer's fought stronger. There's no moral debate here. Slayer just kills him. Yeah, it sounds funny, but Sporticus is basically Diet Spider-Man with gymnast steroids. He's super agile, stupidly fast, and strong enough to casually flip cars and dodge projectiles. His reflexes are inhuman, and he's tireless. Homelander should be more powerful, but he's not used to fighting someone who can literally never stand still. If Sporticus keeps moving, dodges the lasers, he could actually make this interesting. From Hero Inside, Super Scott is a full-on Superman parody. Flight, super strength, near invulnerability, and energy projection. He's thrown beings through city blocks, shrugged off missiles, lifted massive things with ease. Homelander might have the range of his heat vision, but it's nowhere near the destructive power Scott can dish out. Homelander's mouth writes checks his body can't cashier. Scott takes it clean. Homelander's terrifying in The Boys, but step outside that world, suddenly he's mid-tier. He bullies heroes like Mr. Incredible or the Commander, but once he meets anyone who can tank nukes or move faster than light, he's toast. See, Homelander's biggest weapon isn't his strength, it's fear. And when you throw him in with legends like Metroman, Omni-Man, or even Sonic, fear doesn't save you from getting erased.